Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Well, thank you very much for these very kind words. I feel very blessed and honored, and I'm very thankful for being here today. And most of all, I feel very privileged. But I don't feel privileged because I'm standing in front of a crowd, people. That's what my daily basis as a comedian, speaking in front of people. It's mostly because when I got the invitation for today, and I've heard that I'm supposed to speak about future, I got very excited. Because the topic future has always been something that kind of scared me a little bit in the past. Thinking about tomorrow and thinking about my future has always been something that even at my low points in my life petrified me. It made me feel pretty uncomfortable. Today I'm here and I want to introduce myself again a little bit more. My name is Nicolette Fountaris. I'm 32 years old and basically I just live 5 minutes away from here. I moved to Koblenz 2011 from Cologne for the relationship that I had at that time. And after I broke up with that man, I fell in love with his beautiful city Koblenz, which is still the biggest love of my life so far. I said so far, we'll never know. Yeah, and I started my business 3 years ago. And my story is actually very classic, and I say classic and not classy. Because, you know, like the typical story that we all know, I had a very low point in my life 3 years ago. I broke up, I got out of a very bad relationship, I had no money, I had a lot of shit in my life going on, I hated. There was so many things in my life. I had no clue, I had no plan, I didn't know who I was. And then I started my business as an influencer. But what I had my entire life was dreams, visions, and my fantasy. And you can call me Peter Pan if you want, because I have always been dreaming my life. And a couple of years ago, I didn't know how important it is to dream. Most of all, I had no idea how much power dreaming has. And then I started my social media game. And to be honest with you, I got off the train very late. 3 years ago. I took my phone, and having a low point in your life is always a good thing. There is always a benefit about it, which means if you have a low point and you feel everything seems to be fucked up, and I had the feeling my whole life was fucked up at that time, the good thing is you don't care about other things and other people anymore. And if you don't care about other people, something happens. And that is, you start caring about yourself. I didn't care anymore. I started making videos where I used to complain about everything and anything. I was complaining on my stories, on my videos, about men and women and relationship, about you and about myself. And if you complain about everything, it starts becoming ridiculous. And when something becomes so strongly ridiculous, it becomes funny. And shortly after that, I became the funny bone on the German internet, which made me today to a comedian. Being on tour, sometimes even twice a year. And just last week, we started selling the tickets for my next tour, and we were sold out in whole Germany after 13 minutes. That is something I am very proud of today as a person who used to be very negative and complaining about everything. So, talking about future, well, if you would have asked me with the age of 5 or 15 or even 25, what will you be in life? I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. And mostly I knew I had things on my mind, but I was just too scared to speak them out. I had these dreams my entire life. But there's one thing, and that's such a shame. We, as adults, stopped dreaming. And even if we do, we don't speak about it because we think it's not appropriate anymore. It's not appropriate as a grown-up person to dream and speak about the fantasies. But how will you make your dreams come true if you don't speak about them? You have to visualize your dreams. So I did what a lot of other people do, especially young people. I started doing things I actually didn't want to do, just to satisfy and please and make other people happy. When you quit school, when you finish school, when you're done with school, how old are you? Like 16, 17, or 18, I don't know. A young human being. That means you're insecure, you're self-conscious, you're fragile. And that's normal, that's fine with that age. You do not know who you are. With 17, you have no idea who you are. But people in society, or your parents, or your classmates, your friends, they expect you to know who you want to be. You have to make decisions at that age. Which university do I want to go to? Which job do I want to start? What kind of education is coming next? And that's crazy in my mind. And these young people, that young generation, even I felt so damn under pressure. And I wanted to fit into society. I wanted to make everybody happy, but I had no idea what to do. So I did something. I started something that I did for many years of my life. I spent my time and I was dealing with the things I didn't like even. Go into a room like this and ask people, who of you knows what your passion in life is? Everybody has its job, everybody's doing something, and most of the people, I believe, that are kind of satisfied, or maybe even happy. But most of the people do not know what their passion is. Again, ask that crowd of people, do you have a job that is based on your dreams? Most of the answers will be no. First of all, because I think a lot of people do not know what their dreams are. And second of all, they have never spent their time, their precious time, with making their dreams come true. And I did a lot of things. I have been in relationships. I didn't like the guy, you know. I just spent time with the guy and I was too scared to break up with him because I was scared of what will my parents say, my friends say. I'm in an age where I'm actually supposed to marry. I had jobs. I started one job after another in my life. And whenever I was starting another job, I was just like, this time it's going to make me so happy. This is my new passion, and I got a new job, and I like it so much, and I like my boss, and I like the other coworkers, and this time this is my passion. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. 2 weeks passed by most of the times, and I was just like, oh no, I need another one again. That has been my life, and it made me so unhappy, and I was suffering. And that was the reason why I have always been scared of the future, because I hated the shit that I used to do. And I knew probably I'm going to be continuing doing always things I hated until I started really not to care about other people anymore. So I started to care about myself, and I was thinking about who am I, what is my passion, and I found my passion, and I became happy for the first time in my life with the age of 29. And I am so bothered, and I'm very angry about myself that I didn't do that way earlier before. I'm always wondering, why did I never ask myself earlier, what about me? I have had always my parents telling me what to do. I always saw my friends having jobs and doing things. I always thought they were like so happy, and I just wanted to be like them. But I have never been, because I have always been looking at other people, what other people do, and I never focused on myself. And this is actually the message that I want to give to you today. Think more about yourself, take care of yourself, and if there is something in your life you don't like to do, quit. Life is no rehearsal, there's no second life for any one of us here. Quit. Stop spending your time with something you don't like to do. Because it's your future, and if something is not fun for you, why you're spending time with doing it? Just do what makes you happy. This is actually the basic speech I was preparing for the last couple of days for you. It used to be even longer, but yesterday happened something that I want to add to this story, something that has even more value, in my opinion, than just telling you the regular stuff you already know. It's easy to say, stop doing something. We all know it's not how it works nowadays. You cannot just quit something and move on with something that is like so cool for you. Finding your passion does take time. But last night, I was preparing the speech again in my living room. And I was going through my Instagram, through my social media, because that is my job. That's my passion. And there's this girl I'm watching probably almost 2 years on Instagram. And yesterday, I've watched her Insta story, and it broke my heart. And it made me realize that I have to add something to this speech. She's been suffering almost since 2 years with cancer, with the age of 29. She's got cancer in her brain, in her chest, in her lungs, in her back. It spread all over the body. And she used to be at my shows, at my first show here in Koblenz, on my comedy show, and she used to visit me last year in Cologne. She always visited me backstage because I felt always very sorry for her and I wanted to meet her so bad. And whenever I met her, it has always been just like 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes, within these minutes, she told me so many important things. Only somebody is able to tell you when you know your life is gonna be over very soon. In yesterday's story, it was her last story. She was saying goodbye and farewell to her followers because the doctors told her last week that she's going to die in the next couple of days, leaving back a husband and a 3-year-old son. The doctors told her that there is no chance for any kind of therapy or to rescue her. The cancer is everywhere, and all that is happening to her is staying at home right now and spending time with the people she loves, spending time saying goodbye. And most of all, most important, we can worry about our jobs, the environment, politics, and history. We live in a world so superficial, and everybody's worrying about shit, nobody cares. And I'm just wondering, when will we start thinking about how precious this life is? We don't know how much of the future we actually have. But we know that we should use every single day and plan the future just the way we wanted it, because life is too precious to spend it with things we don't like to do. This is the most important message I want to give. And she taught me that. My heart was broken. I was burst into tears when I saw the story. And it made me realize that I think I got pretty far in the last couple of years to become happy. I still need to work on the fact that I want to spend my life, that I want to spend my future only with people and things that make me happy. I don't have the time, and you don't either, to be not happy. You deserve to be happy, and you owe yourself to be happy. Thank you very much for giving me a voice today. Thank you.